Okay, now our next step, after we've got all of the ground posts driven, is to go ahead and take care of securing our baseboards onto the ground posts. We're going to use a 2x6 treated board for our baseboards here, and we're going to stand it up on its end and make it flush with our corner post here. And we're going to attach it using 4-inch long carriage bolts, 1/4-inch carriage bolts. And we're going to use a 5/16 drill bit that's rated for steel to drill through our baseboard and then drill through our ground post as well. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate that. We want to make sure that we're on the center of our baseboard as well as the center of our ground post, so that when we drill through, our drill bit doesn't glance off to the side of our ground post since it's rounded.
Using is a nut with a washer made onto it. It's called a flange nut, and it also has locking grooves on the back side of the nut. Run that on. We set up a small impact wrench to help speed up the process, but you can use a regular 7/16 wrench or socket. You want to have a deep well because most standard sockets won't fit over the nut with the additional bolt length.
Okay, and we're simply going to repeat that process for each one of our ground posts here. Again, trying to find the middle of the ground post and the middle of our 2x6 baseboard here.
You don't want to force the bolt through. If it hangs up on a lip of the metal where you've just drilled through, you want to take your drill and run back through that hole and make sure that it's cleaned out. If you try to hammer your bolt through, you can damage the thread on the bolt, and then you'll never get your nut to set tight on the bolt. So keep that in mind as you're working along the baseboard. Again, we're using the flange nut with the locking grooves on the back side. If you're using an impact gun or drill, make sure you get 2 or 3 threads worth of nut onto the bolt before you start to tighten it up. You can get it cross-threaded otherwise and tear up your bolt there as well. Just want to tighten it up until you feel the head of the carriage bolt starting to pull into the wood.
Once we get to the end of one of our boards and we need to go ahead and make the junction here, we're just going to do a simple toenail with some 3-inch long decking screws. And to do a toenail, I'm going to come back about 2 inches from the end of the board here, and I'm going to start the screw into the wood a little bit. Then I'm just simply going to angle it so that it goes through both boards once the screw's driven all the way through. Just make sure that you have a good clean joint there, that your boards are sitting flush. You may have to dig out some underneath one of the boards. If one board is sitting down in the ground lower or higher than the other, you can use just a simple mattock or a shovel to dig any inconsistencies out so that the boards are laying in a consistent fashion across the bottom of the structure. I'm going to put 4 screws here at this junction. And our baseboards are connected, and we can continue moving down the tunnel and connecting the baseboards to the ground posts. Okay, once we have our baseboard attached, and if we have any excess, I'm going to just go ahead and cut that off flush with the ground post here. So we're just going to use a handsaw. You can use a reciprocating saw if you have it. Just anything that will cut through a 2x6 piece, and go ahead and cut it flush with the ground post here.